Have you ever really stopped to think about what hunger actually is?
Hmm.
I mean, for most of us, it's pretty straightforward, right? Your stomach rumbles, you know it's time for lunch, a physical thing.
Right, a biological signal.
But what if Right, so the mission here is really to see how his philosophy helps manage not just the physical side, but how it helps you, rebuild your identity, your emotional awareness.
And just to be clear, our insights today are pulled from, well, a collection of perspectives on what Dan Hollis actually taught about these specific areas: emotional hunger, weight loss, and those setbacks.
Great. So let's start with redefining hunger, because Hollis said something that really stopped me. Emotional hunger isn't a craving.
Right.
He called it a question, a need asking to be seen.
That is such a powerful way to put it, isn't it?
It really is.
And what's brilliant is how it explains signal confusion.
Right.
We feel tired or lonely, maybe just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And bam, the brain jumps straight to, I need food. But often what you're really reaching for in the fridge or the pantry, it's connection or
Mm.
comfort or maybe just a moment of quiet clarity.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I can definitely think of times I've done that. Just reached for food when I was actually bored or stressed.
We all do it.
And Hollis pointed out something else fascinating. When food stops being your emotional scaffolding.
That thing you lean on.
Exactly. You don't just feel lighter physically. You can feel exposed, raw, almost.
hmm But he didn't frame that as weakness. That's the key.
Sure.
No. He called it wisdom misdirected. It's your natural wise drive for comfort, just pointed in the wrong direction, towards food instead of the real need.
Wisdom misdirected. I like that. It takes the shame out of it.
Completely. And
Right.
it leads to his core teaching here. Pause. Get curious.
Stop for a second.
Yeah. Ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? Not to punish yourself, but just for insight,
Hmm.
to understand what's truly going on underneath.
Okay, so pausing and asking that question, that's the first step. But how does something like semaglutide fit into this? These GLP-1 drugs?
Right. Semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy. They work by mimicking a hormone, helps regulate appetite, blood sugar, originally for type 2 diabetes, but then found to cause significant weight loss.
So you'd think, okay, problem solved. But Hollis said no.
No, he was very clear. It doesn't solve emotional hunger.
So what does it do in his view?
He said it makes the biological noise quiet enough to finally hear it. It creates a kind of silence. The silence that lets you find one, meaning lets you find the answer to that deeper emotional hunger. It doesn't fix the underlying need, but it turns down the volume on the constant physical cravings.
Okay, so it creates space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A crucial space. It lets you finally hear the emotional questions that were being drowned out before.
That's a huge distinction. So the real work isn't just taking the medication.
Not at all. These drugs offer this incredible opportunity, this window, to start rebuilding your identity, your habits, your emotional awareness, while the cravings are less intense.
So the healing part, that involves learning to tell the difference between real hunger and that signal confusion.
Precisely. And seeing cravings not as bad things to be crushed, but maybe as messengers.
Messengers, what do they tell you?
Well, they might be pointing to that underlying need: loneliness, stress, fatigue. So you meet them with insight, with empathy, with awareness, instead of just automatically reaching for food.
Okay, that changes everything. And it leads right into how Hollis saw weight loss itself, right? Beyond just numbers.
Yes. Because when food isn't that constant companion, that co-pilot anymore, semaglutide creates this silence.
And he said something about that silence.
He said the real work begins when the cravings stop. That's when the truth shows up.
Wow. So the quiet lets the deeper stuff surface.
hmm And this is where he really challenged the whole idea of willpower being the be-all and end-all.
Yeah, Hollis said.
He suggested most people don't fail on these drugs because the drugs stopped working physically. They struggle because they weren't helped to rewrite the rituals that define their identity.
So it's not a lack of willpower. It's about identity.
It's about not having the support or the tools to figure out who you are without food playing that central, often coping role.
So weight loss, in his view, isn't about chasing a number.
No, it's about building a life where food isn't your only coping tool. That's the goal.
Building a life that feels much bigger.
It is. He said it's often not about losing control. It's about having lost connection
Connection to what?
to your hunger cues, to your purpose, to yourself.
Uh-huh.
And that's what needs rebuilding, reconnecting.
I really like thinking of semaglutide not as a magic bullet, but as wow, what did he call it? A pause.
A pause, a breather, a reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this unique space opens up a chance to design a new way of operating while the usual pressure is off.
And that makes you think, what are we actually measuring?
Right. Hollis always stressed that fast results don't mean lasting ones. The scale tells you one thing, but it doesn't measure self-trust.
Self-trust, that's key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why he insisted you have to plan for life after semaglutide. Or, as he put it, if you don't, it will plan for you. Meaning old patterns will just creep back in if you haven't built something new.
Oof, that's a stark warning. And he had that great line about cheating.
Oh, yeah. Semaglutide isn't cheating. It's adaptation.
Right. The real cheat is pretending willpower was enough.
Exactly. It just cuts through all the judgment around using these tools.
Hmm.
It reframes it as using a modern adaptation to help with a complex biological and emotional issue.
So it's about adapting, not cheating, and replacing habit.
Yes. Every pound lost, he said, means a habit must be replaced, not just removed. You can't just leave a void.
Okay.
Biology, with the medication, gives you a head start, a big one, often. But only identity keeps you moving. You have to build that new identity, those new rituals.
So it's less about grim discipline.
And more about alignment. He said, you don't hold on to weight loss with discipline. You hold on to it with alignment.
Alignment.
Aligning your choices, your thoughts, your environment with the person you are becoming, the life you are building. It's a deeper, more integrated thing than just forcing yourself.
It sounds like quiet work, intentional.
Very much so. He described healing as this slow layering of new choices, new thoughts, and new systems, all built during that sacred window that semaglutide creates.
Layering, not forcing.
Right. And the ultimate aim isn't to become some totally different person. It's to finally have the space, the quiet, to become yourself, the self that was maybe buried under all the noise.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. Okay, but what about when things go wrong? The setbacks. We all have them.
Ah, yes. The dreaded setback. And normally we feel such shame, right? Like we failed.
Totally. Like you're back at square one.
But Hollis taught that setbacks are predictable, not shameful. They're not failures.
Predictable.
Yeah, they're just moments where your body and brain are trying to recalibrate. It's a sign you're human, processing change. It's not proof you're lazy or that it's not working.
Okay, that's a relief to hear, actually.
And he had this incredibly insightful line. Most people don't relapse into hunger.
They don't. Then what happens?
They relapse into confusion.
Confusion.
Yeah, it's not usually that overwhelming physical hunger comes roaring back. It's more that they feel lost, disoriented. The old map doesn't work, the new one isn't finished, so they revert to old coping mechanisms out of sheer confusion.
Wow. Relapsing into confusion, that changes how you'd approach it.
Completely. And he used that analogy.
Yeah.
Weight loss isn't a straight lineup.
No, it definitely isn't.
He called it a spiral staircase.
A spiral staircase.
Okay. You might feel like you're going in circles sometimes, revisiting old challenges or feelings, but look closely. You're actually still climbing, still moving upwards, just on a spiral path. It normalizes the ups and downs.
I love that visual. It takes the pressure off needing constant linear progress.
Exactly. And it connects to pacing. Remember, fast results don't mean lasting results. Pacing is protection.
So plateaus aren't failures either.
Not at all. They're normal. Your body's catching up. Your metabolism is adjusting. It's asking for grace, not judgment. It's part of the process, not a sign you've done something wrong.
Okay. But what about when those old cravings do pop up? Because they sometimes do, right? Even with the medication.
Oh, absolutely. But Hollis reframed that too. When an old craving hits, it's not weakness resurfacing.
What is it then?
It's memory. A neural path lit up. Just an old pathway firing.
Yeah.
But the difference now, with the space and awareness you've built.
You can choose a different response.
Exactly. You have the opportunity to answer that old signal differently this time.
Because your identity is catching up.
Well, that's often the lag, isn't it? He said, your body changes fast. Your identity takes time to catch up.
Yeah, that makes sense. The physical changes can outpace the mental and emotional ones.
So a setback doesn't necessarily mean the medication isn't working anymore. It might mean the story you were telling yourself still needs updating.
Updating the internal narrative to match the external reality.
Precisely. So semaglutide gives you the space, the quiet.
But Hollis taught how to use that space, especially during a setback.
Yes, not to judge yourself, but to get curious again. Narrate the setback as a question.
What kinds of questions?
The core ones. What am I feeling right now? What do I truly need in this moment? And maybe most importantly, who do I want to become from this experience?
Using it as data, not a verdict.
Exactly. That's the heart of it.
Yeah.
He shifted the whole perspective. Setbacks don't mean you're losing.
What do they mean then?
They might just mean you're learning.
Learning. Wow, that really lands differently.
It's the core of his whole approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
So empathetic, moving way beyond just physical stuff, hunger, weight.
Right into the deep end of emotions, identity,
Yeah.
our whole relationship with ourselves and food.
hmm His teachings really offer that empathy, that awareness, but also like a practical path, a way to find yourself again on what can feel like a really lonely journey sometimes.
It really does. It makes you think.
Yeah.
Well, if creating this kind of silence in one area, like quieting physical hunger, can uncover these deeper emotional truths, these needs for identity shifts,
hmm
where else?
Exactly. Where else in your life, might hitting pause, creating a moment of deliberate silence, where might that reveal a deeper question you haven't heard or a hidden need?
Hmm.
Or maybe just give you that space you need to rewrite an old story that isn't really serving you anymore. That's a powerful thought to leave people with. Where else could that silence be useful?